If you wish to do something or be something, you have to dream it first. And once you dream it, then you have to attract it. That's the basic concept. If you think you can be something or you can be successful at something, it will never happen. If you envision yourself to want to be in the military, you start to envision, what does it take to be in the military? What do I need to do? How do I get there? Picture yourself in a uniform. Then it's easier to get there because you have that mindset, you have that picture in your mind, and as you work towards that, you're going to get opportunities to be there. But if you're always thinking, I can never do that, I can never do that, then you're not going to do things that will make you get there. You're not going to attract the right people to help you get there. Whatever you think or dream is what you're going to attract. Yes, actually I was in the military at the time. I was in the US Army and I was studying for my MCAT to go to medical school. I had a picture of a Lamborghini in my bedroom and I would always look at that picture. I would always tell myself, someday I'm going to get a car like this, a super car like this. And I would study, but every time I feel tired, I look at that picture again. I am going to do whatever it takes to get there. I didn't think about it again. Do my medical school, too busy to think about, super car. Then I got to residency fellowship, and once in a while it will come to mind. It's always back there in the back of my mind. Couldn't afford to get a Ferrari or Lamborghini, but I kept working towards that goal. It was always a dream. And then someday I look at my portfolio, I look at myself, I said, you know what, I can do this. And I decided, I just drove around, went to McLaren, I went to Lamborghini, and I went to Ferrari, and okay, this is it. I want this Ferrari. Just like that. But it took years. You ask me, how do people become successful? I had that goal, and I was not going to be distracted. Even though I couldn't afford that car, but I kept focused on my goal and I kept working at it. And eventually I got to a point where I could afford to buy the car. But that's just an example of where you have, you wish something and you see yourself in it and you did everything that you could do to get to that point. That's what the law of attraction is. You can work hard and not be efficient at what you're doing, or you could be working hard at the wrong thing. If you're working hard, you're not getting where you want to be, you have to ask yourself, am I in the right situation? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm putting all my effort into it and it's not working. Maybe I need to change my situation. I need to be in a different situation to reach my goal. And sometimes people are afraid of change. Sometimes a change is what you need to get you where you want to be. And it doesn't mean you should stop working hard. You've been putting all your effort into it, you're not getting what you want. Stop. Rewind. Think about it. I've done all my physical hard work, but not the result I want. Maybe I need to change. I need to pivot and go into something else so I can get the outcome that I want. I think that's why some people are not being successful, because put yourself in the right situation. Get into that situation where you attract what you really want. Being delusional is a negative thing. That means you're not seeing reality. You have to be real when you attract something. So if you're wishing to be an astronaut and you're not doing those things to get you there, you're never going to be an astronaut. So wishing for something is a step, but you have to also do those things to attract what you want. If you don't do what it takes to get there, just wishing for it is not going to make it happen. And I think that's the key there. Yes, you can wish for something, but you have to play an active role in working towards that, and then you can attract those positive things to get to where you want to be. Visualizing things helps you remain focused. When you go off track, you remember, oh, I had that picture, that image in my head. And so it's like, oh, I gotta go for it. Having a picture in your mind, keep your dream, looks real. So I'm a believer of picturing, imagining things. It reminds me, because I'm a very visual individual. Remember, you have to, keep doing what you need to do to get there. Pictures in the head, I think that's very helpful. Writing down things is important, because sometimes when you imagine things, you may not have thought through everything, every possibility. Come up with a goal, a plan. Now you should write it down. I want to do this. How do I get there? What do I need? Oh my God, I didn't think about that one. Oh, I write that one down. I need to do, these are things I need to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. As I accomplish that, I can check it off. Helps me stay focused. Everyone should try to do that. I want to start a business. They don't have a roadmap on how to start a business. And when you do start a business, how do you maintain the business? It's one thing to be successful at something. How can you stay successful? There are two paths to being successful. Working out to be successful and working out to stay stay successful. And so having a roadmap for yourself and doing a checklist on what you need to do, and when things go wrong, okay, this went wrong, let's do this. Now, next time you can go back and say, this is what I did. So writing things down for me is a good way to keep you on track. I think that's called insanity. When you do the same thing over and over again and get the same result. When you do something you're doing wrong. And that first thing you're doing wrong is that you're not accepting that you're doing something wrong. When you have two people that are in a conflict, something goes wrong between two people. There's a tendency for one person to say, the problem is the other person. We're quick to point finger, right? In any conflict, both parties are involved. Both parties have some fault. So one might have 70% fault, the other person might have 30%, right? If you can fix your 30%, the next time you do something, you're going to like to be successful. The next, relationship or you're into, you don't repeat the same 30%. So when you're doing something that has a bad outcome you don't want, forget who's involved. Forget other people that are involved in that pathway. See what you did. What role did that play in this, that this is coming out wrong? Let me fix that. And a lot of people don't want to see that. They don't look inward. You gotta take an introspective look at yourself and say, what is it that I did? Let me accept responsibility and let me correct that. If you do that, you will not have the same outcome over and over again. The key point is learning from failure and be truthful to yourself. So if you're doing something and along the way something doesn't work, well, what have I learned from this? Okay, I learned that I can't do it this way, it doesn't work. Is there something I can do to change that pathway? If I look at other options and there's no other option that will make it work the right way, then maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. You have to know when to quit. You have to know when this is not my path. I need to do something totally different. It's okay. You also need to know when to say, well, this is still my path. This is still my journey. I just need to change things so I can get to that end point. Understanding that it's okay to say, I need to change path completely, or I need to keep moving forward, but change the way I get there is the key here. So either way, you're consistent with the message. The consistency doesn't have to mean doing the same over and over again. Consistency means you're consistent with the principle of being successful, which is knowing when to look at failure, assess the failure, see what you learn from it, and make changes. Or when to not do the same thing because it doesn't work. That's a consistent principle. Mindset is really important because if you have the mindset of being successful, you can do what it takes. Think about where you want to be. It's not so much where you've been, it's where you want to go. We all start at different levels, different spaces. Don't look at somebody has a Lamborghini, therefore I must have a Lamborghini. Somebody has a Ferrari, I must have, no. For them, that might be what they consider successful. You don't have to do that. If getting you a nice Toyota Celica or Corolla is your own success, then enjoy it. Enjoy what you have. Don't live other people's life. Figure out what your life is. Figure out what makes you happy. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the moment. Define your own success and do what it takes to get to be successful and have the mindset of that. The mindset is, I know what I want. I know what makes me happy. I know what I consider being successful. Keep that mindset and just go for it. If you like this video, don't just dream. Think about it, write it down, work at it, and try the right positive energy. Follow me for more tips on how to become successful.